Okay, guys, it's important to make a note that when you're doing present perfect, you can have the use of the auxiliary verb have, the helping verb have, or the helping verb has, right? And this is important because we use the have when we're talking about I or we or they, and we use the helping verb has when we're talking about he or she or it. So it's very important to understand that those need to be conjugated correctly. I have, you have, he has, she has, we have, they have. Does that make sense? Very good. So you're going to put the auxiliary verb and then continue the sentence like normal. I have done a lot today. We have not lived in Japan. Have you worked together? So we're talking about experiences. He has eaten too many candies. She is not going to church. She is not going to church. Has it worked since yesterday? And we're talking about he, she, or it in this case. In the case of it, we're talking probably about a machine or some type of computer, something like that, right? Very good, guys. Okay, so when we're talking about perfect, it's important to understand when we will use present perfect. We use present perfect to talk about experiences. For example, I have been to Tokyo. It's an experience of mine in my life. I have been to Tokyo. Recent news or events. The president has given two speeches this week. So here I'm informing you about a recent event. The cat has vomited 4 times today, so we probably should take him to the vet. Your son has gotten into trouble 6 times this year, so we need to talk to the principal. They're recent news or events in the lives of the participants. We can also talk about time words. I have not seen her this month. So we're talking about this hasn't happened in this specific period of time. I have not eaten meat for 20 years. It doesn't mean that I can't eat meat again. It doesn't mean that I didn't eat meat before. It just means that I have not eaten meat for 20 years. So during this specific period of time. These are very useful types of sentences. So I would suggest that for your vocabulary, try to create sentences in each of the three different feelings. Make sure that you understand how to create sentences that express an experience, a news event, and a time word. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Okay, so moving on. That was present perfect. Now we're talking about past perfect. There really is not much of a difference here, so we're not going to spend a lot of time explaining it. The big difference is the helping verb changes from have or has in the present to had in the past. So instead of writing I have done, you're going to say I had done. Instead of saying you have eaten, you're going to say you had eaten. Does that make sense? Very good. So let's look at these examples. I had done the work earlier. I had done the work earlier. So this is in the past. So what does that mean? That means that the work is probably not done now, but I had done it before, right? She had not lived here before. So this probably means she does live here now. She had not lived here. She had not had the experience in the past of living here, but that probably implies that she does have the experience now. Had you eaten before class? It's like I'm bringing your food and you don't want it. You say no, thank you, and I ask, had you eaten? Right? In Spanish, this would be habías comido. Right? Very good. So there's a different feeling to past perfect, and I think this is the most difficult part of the grammar tenses, is that each of the grammar tenses was invented to express a different sentiment or a different feeling. The past perfect is used when we want to express an action finished before a past action. The film had started before I arrived. So the film had started before I arrived. So we're talking about my arrival, but we're mentioning that before I arrived, something else had happened. So an action finished before another past action. We also use it to express how long to a point in the past. When he graduated, he lived in London. When he graduated, he had lived in London. So this was in the past, right? Very good. Unreal things in the past. I wish I had not gone to bed so late. So you're thinking hubiera, right? That idea of a desire in the past that you wish wouldn't have happened. Something unreal, something that doesn't exist. I wish I had not gone to bed so late. Does that make sense? Good job. Okay, guys, so we made it through the perfect tenses. We understood present perfect and past perfect. If you don't understand present or past perfect, please stop now and go back and rewatch this video. Ask your teacher, ask me, no problem. But it's important that you understand those two before going forward. I suggest to everybody that you have some type of notebook where you can have an inventory of your verbs, an inventory maybe of your verb tenses. So you can say, okay, present perfect, and I understand it. Present progressive, I understand it. To be going future, I understand it. Because if you don't have some type of inventory or some type of classification system with all this grammar, you might get confused. And we don't want that, right? So now we're going to move into present perfect progressive. There's two big differences between present perfect and present perfect progressive. It still has that word perfect because we're still using have de haber in this tense. So it's still that been, right? But it says progressive, and progressive means that we're going to have the verb to be and the ing. Whenever we see the word progressive, we know that we're going to have the verb to be, in this case, been, and we know we're going to have the ing or the gerund of the verb or the present participle of the verb, right? So in this case, the title, present perfect progressive, tells us what is in the verb. It's in the present, so we're going to use have or has in our helping verb. And it says progressive, which means that it's going to have the verb to be, which is been, and it's going to have the gerund or the ing, which is on the screen, doing, eating, going, working, or living. Okay? So the helping verb is going to be I have been. You have been. She has been. We have been. They have been. So you can see in third person singular, we are going to put has with an S. Has, not have with a V, but has with an S because it is third person singular. Is that good? Okay, so then it would be I have been, and we're going to combine it with doing. I have been doing. You have been eating. She has been going, and we have been working. They have been living. We're not going to put I have been done or she has been gone, right? We're not going to put that. We're going to put she has been going because this is progressive. Like it says in the title, it's progressive. Very good, guys. Okay, so let's look at these examples. I have been doing all the work. We have not been eating salads for lunch. Has she been working at night? How do you understand these sentences? Do they mean the same in Spanish as they do in English? Think about it because I think they do, and that will help you to center and understand the ideas. So the present perfect progressive has an interesting feeling and it's very important. It's important that you understand the sentiment so that you know when to use it. I have been living here for 3 years. I have been living here for 3 years. Do I still live here? Does this person still live here? Yes, they do, because the progressive means that it continues in the present. It started in the past, but it continues in the present. So this is the tense that brings the past to the present. It brings the past to the present, right? But that's why it's called continuous, right? So this expresses how long. I have been living here. How long? 3 years. It also represents a result. I have been working to buy a new car. Am I still working? Yes. Did I buy the car? No, because it's in progression. It is in the continuous state, which means it's still happening as we speak. We also use this for temporary situations. I have been going to the gym lately. I have been going. It means in the past I probably didn't go. It doesn't guarantee that I'm going to continue to go. But from in the past, I started and I'm continuing now. But it doesn't really give you much security. It kind of feels temporary. It kind of feels like it might change. So if somebody says, I have been going to church lately, to me, I might say, do you plan on continuing or how do you feel? Because it doesn't sound like something secure, like I go to church, which sounds very strong and very, very secure, very confident, right? This sounds a little bit more temporary. I have been going to the gym lately. Very good. Once again, in the past perfect progressive, it's not much of a change. You're just going to change the have or the has to had, because that's the past of the verb have or has. When I say have or has in the past, you're going to say had, and that's why we're changing it. But you're going to continue to use the been, and you're going to continue to use the ing or the present participle of the verb. So in that case, it's pretty easy, right? Just change the have to had. Let's look at these examples. And I hope that you are doing your examples in your notebook. Remember, you should have some type of notebook where you're taking notes and where you can go back when we're in level 5, when we're in the different levels, and we can refer to this information. Very important, okay? So this one says, I had been living there for 3 years before I got married. I had been living there for 3 years before I moved. I had been living there 3 years before I changed jobs. Like, we're talking about a point in the past. We had not been understanding each other. Antes, we didn't understand each other. We had not been understanding each other. Now it has improved, right? This implies a change. Had you been working together? Had you been working together? Maybe somebody got sick and I ask you, had you been working with this person? Because I want to know your relationship with them before, right? It's not right now. These are all in the past, but this is a point in the past that we're referring to. Had you been working together, but it's no longer in the present. It's not something that's happening now. In the present perfect progressive, it's still occurring now. Past perfect progressive, it's not. So these can get a bit confusing. Good job, guys. Okay, so let's talk about the sentiment behind past perfect progressive. We really have two major sentiments with past perfect progressive. The first is how long to a point in the past. She had been working at the company for a year when she met James. How long? She had been working at the company for a year. How long? A year. She had been working, right? And then to reference a time in the past, the pavement was wet. It had been raining. The pavement was wet. It had been at some point in the past it rained. So right now the sidewalk or the pavement is wet. We're referencing the past. Very good. Okay, guys, we're just going to do a quick review of the to be going future. To be going future is something that you learned in level 1 and level 2, and now we're reviewing it because it's one of the more difficult tenses. It's very difficult because the Spanish and the English for to be going future are very different. In English, you're going to put the person, vamos a poner la persona, and then you're going to put the helping verb, am going. You are going. She is going. We are going. They are going. Yes? And then you're going to add the infinitive, to do, to eat, to go, to work, to live. So together it would be, I am going to do. You are going to eat. He is going to go. The idea here is algo, la intención. It's the intentionality. I have the intention of doing. I have the intention of eating. I have the intention of going. So we're going to add that in the form of an infinitive. I am going, ¿a qué? To do. Voy a qué? Hacer, right? So el a, voy a hacer, es ese tú que vemos aquí. Okay, so vamos a ver algunos ejemplos. We're going to look at some examples. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Es una intencionalidad, to do. He is not going to work at the mall. Es una intencionalidad. No. Are they going to live in the same apartment? To live. Estoy preguntando cuál es la intención de estas personas. Are they going to live in the same apartment? Very good. Okay. Bueno, chicos, we're going to talk about the sentiment, los sentimientos de to be going future. We use to be going future to express prior plans, planes anteriores. I am going to visit my aunt next Friday. Este es un plan que hice en el pasado que es para el futuro, right? We also use it to express a prediction, something that we think is going to happen. It is going to rain. We are thinking it is going to rain in the future. And we also use it when something's about to happen at the moment, instantly. Get back. The bomb is going to explode. It hasn't exploded yet. We're talking about it's going to explode, right? Right now, right? Very good. Okay, guys, here we're talking about the to be going future, but we're doing it in the past. So instead of using I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, they are, we're going to use it in the past. I was, you were, he was, she was, we were, and they were. And this is expressing an intentionality that went wrong. So esta es una intencionalidad que no salió funcionando. So yo tenía la intención de hacer algo, pero no funcionó. Yo tenía la intención de ir, pero no llegué. Yo tenía la intención de cocinar, pero no cociné. That's the idea. So yo iba a ir, yo iba a cocinar, yo iba a hablar contigo. It's in the past because my intention was in the past, but it really never happened, right? Very good. We're still going to use the infinitive with this. So it's I was going to do. You were going to eat, right? So, like we were talking about in the last video, these are some examples of to be going future, but in the past. So, this is an intentionality. Había intención, but it didn't happen. I was going to work today, but I felt sick. I was not going to live here, but it was cheap. Were they going to call you? Very Okay, guys. So in this case, we are expressing a plan in the future that's not going to happen. So, for example, I'm saying I was going to go to see my mom. So, my intention was to go to see my mom, but it didn't happen. That's why I'm using the was, because I was going. Estaba en camino, estaba en mis planes, estaba en mi mente ir, pero no fui. So, we're using the to be going future in the past. Very Okay, guys, this was a lot of information. I hope you took a lot of notes. Make sure that you write things down, practice, make examples, ask questions, because it's a lot of information. And remember, it's not just about the advanced tenses. You also need to practice the simple tenses. Simple present, simple past, simple future are also very important. A lot of times when you get to level 5 and level 4, these are the tenses that where you have the most issues. These are the problems in your English a lot of the time. So don't forget about the basic tenses either. Practice them and we'll see you soon. Bye.